I'm now tempted to triple captain Erling Haaland in game week 9, and this is why. Welcome to the Gianni Batici YouTube show. Hope you're all well. You're looking forward to that Friday night deadline later this evening. I've done a complete U-turn on triple captaincy, and in the next 10 minutes or so, I'm going to give you the reasons why I am considering it. Before we get started, guys, if you fancy hitting that like button, but also subscribing to the channel if you're new around here, that'd be really, really appreciated. I had no plans to make this video. My team selection video was out yesterday, but as I've had a really busy day, I'm here in a hotel, and the more and more I think about it, the more triple captain appeals. So, poll on Twitter, just randomly, by the way, about 20% of people are looking to use triple captaincy on Haaland this week. 61% are a no. There's a lot that are a maybe and undecided. In this video, I think I might help you make that decision, right? So, let's go back before we talk about Erling Haaland and the form of Man City and the form of Haaland and the fixture and all that stuff. Let's just take a little bit of a back step. There are plenty of chips still to play in FPL this season. We need to talk about the double game weeks that are about to come up in the second half of the season, and we need to talk about the chips available. Historically, we get a fair few double game weeks, but this season is different because of the FA Cup. We're going to get fewer double game weeks. We're only, in fact, guaranteed to get 2 big double game weeks. Now, historically, we play triple captain, bench boost, and free hit, all in those doubles, sometimes one in a blank, i.e. a free hit, but ideally we target the doubles. Remember, we have that second wild card, which is effectively a chip as well. So this season, we have the combination of 2 things. We have at least one fewer big double game week, but we also have a second chip, an extra chip, the mystery chip. Now, we don't know what that mystery chip is. I would be very surprised if it wasn't part of a chip that we want to use in a double game week, right? I think my guess, since I saw the mystery chip announcement, I was like, I reckon that mystery chip is going to be something like a free hit with unlimited spend. Like if you play the Champions League or any UEFA fantasy game like the Euros, limitless, they called it, a limitless chip. I could see that, absolutely. The Premier League will be very wise to know that it was popular for the UEFA game and they'll bring it into their own. Let's say we get limitless. That's definitely going to be a double game week, right? We know bench boost ideally is on a double, but you could play that in a single. Of course you could. But we also know free hit, it's great in a big double game week. We are going to get a blank, but it's only going to be a small blank this season. The Carabao Cup final will be a blank for 2 teams. Other than that, look, we could get snowstorms and postponements. We could get, we had the Queen die and there was more chaos for the fixtures. It's very unlikely we're going to get those 2 things happen. Like Premier League stadiums now can deal with bad weather and, well, the Queen's already dead. So it's very unlikely, right? It's very unlikely. Tongue in cheek, right? Of course. So what I'm saying is, the long and short of it is, we might have to use one of those chips, if not 2 of them, on normal game weeks, on single game weeks. And if we're going to do that, then isn't Man City Southampton one to target? We said it in game week 2. Man City played Ipswich. We only didn't use the triple captain on Haaland because we were like, oh, it's too early. And there's something nice about holding on to all your chips, but you've got to spend them at some point. Haaland went and got a hat-trick that day. Now, Salah will still have some really nice fixtures. Salah still has to play Southampton at home. Salah has to play Ipswich at home. Cole Palmer has some very nice single game week fixtures coming up. But clearly, the best player in the game, Erling Haaland, the highest ceiling player in the game, Erling Haaland. We've had Ipswich at home. We will get Leicester at home, but this is Southampton at home. And I think Southampton are the weakest of the 3. This is absolutely a fixture to target, isn't it? Now, I'm going to talk more about the opponents, more about City's form, Haaland's form, the effect of no Rodri and De Bruyne, but also Foden now maybe playing well in just a second. But before we do, let me give a shout out to OneFootball. Thank you for sponsoring today's show. If you don't use OneFootball already, guys, honestly, give it a go. Like, it's my favorite football app. Some of you will use the likes of SofaScore or FotMob. For me, OneFootball is head and shoulders. I've got it there right on my home screen. I approached them and said, look, guys, I talk about you all the time. I use you all the time. Why don't you sponsor my YouTube channel? So I'm delighted to have them on board. Scan the QR code. If you want football news, if you want fixtures, if you want data, if you want video clips, it's all there, not just for the Premier League. I use it for Serie A, like hugely for Champions League as well. Give it a go. And let's crack on then with some other Erling Haaland triple captain chat. At the end of the video, by the way, I'll give you my percentage chance that I'm going to do it. But where I've had the U-turn was watching the midweek on Wednesday night, right? I said in my team selection video, which I recorded before Man City played Sparta Prague, I'm not going to do triple captain. I said Erling Haaland's the most obvious captaincy candidate this week. Of course he is, as always. But I've done loads of driving. I've driven to Bristol. I'm now in London. I'm on the FPL show Friday morning, then on Sky. I'm on the road. And as I'm driving, I've just got some time to myself to think. And I'm just thinking the way City played. I'm reflecting on it. Haaland didn't play 90. Tick. Haaland played well and scored 2 goals. Tick. But the key thing for me was Man City functioned well as a team. Man City looked good, and they haven't looked good in the Premier League of late. Like, we've seen recent games, right, where they went to Newcastle, they hosted Fulham, and they went to Wolves. Those 3 games in the last 3 Haaland blanks, they've looked poor. But they haven't had a starting Phil Foden in those fixtures. I think Fulham he started. He started in the number 10 and he looked really, really good. We saw Mateus Nunes on the left. Doku and Grealish are injured. We're going to see Savio and we're going to see Foden starting. And it was Savio and Foden that are really the creativity that I think Haaland likes. So, number 1 reason why Haaland is a good triple captain this week, if we're just looking at Man City, is they've just come off the back of a big win. So sure, we absolutely like that. Number 2, Haaland didn't play 90 and great. Number 3, he scored a couple of goals. So this is all from Wednesday. But then we look more and more into it and we go, reason number 4, I could go on. Reason number 4, Man City next week, this is really important. They have a midweek on Wednesday night. It's the EFL Cup against Spurs. Pepper said he's going to rotate. Erling Haaland gets a rest next Wednesday. There is no Champions League next week. If there was, you might go, oh, City could go 3-0 up and bring Haaland off because he needs a rest. No, he's going to get a rest on Wednesday night. He's going for all sorts of records. If you're going to go on a single game week, you need to know it's a 90-minute game. This is a 90-minute game for Haaland. Even if they're cruising at 3-0, he stays on the pitch, in my opinion. And with that in mind, I'm happy to go for a 90-minute game, not a 180 potential, which is what we all think for double game weeks, right? So the fixture map ahead is good. The player in the form, though, is slightly worrying. And earlier this week, I brought you a graphic of my team selection video. If you've not seen it, go and check it out, of Erling Haaland game weeks 1 to 5 and Erling Haaland game weeks 6, 7 and 8. The big miss there is the creator behind him. But Foden's now playing slightly better. Will De Bruyne be available? I don't think so. And because of Doku and Grealish out, we get Savio too. Those 2 reasons make me think it's looking good for Erling Haaland. Man City have shown me enough against Sparta Prague that they can go and score 3 or 4 against Southampton. And then we look at Southampton's form. Boy, it's bad. Southampton had to beat Leicester. I expected them to. They went 2-0 up. What a soft centre. Leicester scored 3 away goals to win 3-2. Southampton are on the ropes. The manager, Russell Martin, is on the ropes. Russell Martin, by the way, is feels like a bit of a dead man walking. I like Russell Martin, but he feels like he's on borrowed time. He feels like he's on his last legs. And how does Southampton approach games like this? You expect them to come and play because that's the only way they know. Russell Martin drills them to play out from the back to have a go. You go toe to Man City in Southampton and you get dominated. There is pause for thought that they went to the Emirates this season and caused Arsenal a few problems in the first half especially. Man City are a different beast when they're fit and firing. And I think we might now see a fit and firing Man City off the back of this game in the week. Now, Sparta Prague are probably about a similar level to Southampton, if we're honest. Great. Give me another 5-0. Now, when we look at the bookies odds, Man City projected, Rob T's graphics from the bookie spread markets project that we'll see like 3+ goals for Man City. It's similar to what we saw in game week 2. In terms of single game weeks, we won't see higher for Man City this season, I don't believe. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying this, do hit those buttons, like and subscribe. But what the projections also show us is the chances of Haaland scoring 1 goal, the chances of Haaland scoring 2 goals. So he's got a 74% chance of scoring 1 goal, according to the bookies odds. He's got a 39% chance, nearly half, of scoring 2+. And the bookies think the share of Man City's goals will be 41% in his favour. 41% of Man City's goals will be scored by Haaland. He's going to get 3+, but it could be a 5 or a 6. Honestly, the more I'm talking to you guys about it, I'm tempted. I wasn't planning on doing this video, as I mentioned, but I couldn't hit the button and go, I haven't told my YouTube subscribers. I had to make a video about it. So here I am, up in the middle of the night, going, I've got to film something and show you guys. So that's where I'm at. Remember, I showed you a Twitter poll earlier in the show. Let me bring you back to that because I think that's important. The masses, a lot of numbers are going to go there. A lot of numbers are going to go there. We're going to see 200% effective ownership, very, very close to. And with that in mind, some will go, this isn't the best opportunity to triple captain because I've got making up to do. And I want to go against the grain. And someone random in a double game week, I mentioned earlier in the week, Jared Bowen gets a loose double game week. Is that not a better option? All that matters is total points at the end of the season, guys. And total points, you captain the guy that's going to get the most points. You triple captain the guy that's going to get the most points. If you use your triple captain chip now, let's look at some of these other chips. You can play, let's say that we're only going to get 2 double game weeks, 2 big doubles. I can use the big double game weeks. I can go mystery chip. Let's say it's a limitless. And I can then go one of bench boost or free hit. Makes it easier. Makes it easier to plan if one's out the way. Whether that's bench boost game week 1, which some people talk about, or whether it's going right here, right now, triple captain, I think I'm here for it. So look, as the day's gone on, I've gone from 30% likely to 40% likely. As soon as I hit 40% likely, I was like, oh, probably got to do a video. I was then 50% likely before I started recording. And as I speak it out, this is the first time I've spoken it out today because I've just been driving by myself. I'm 60. I'm 60% likely. Whether or not I do it, let's see. Follow me on Twitter, on Instagram. It will be on my Instagram. It'll be on my Instagram before anything. So check me out at Gianni Batici if you want to know if I pull that button or not. It will be a late decision, guys. I'm going to be in studios tomorrow. I'm going to be at Leicester tomorrow night. It will be a late call at 4 or 5 o'clock, I expect. So stay tuned for my Instagram stories. I hope this has given you food for thought. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, do show your appreciation by hitting that like button, by subscribing. Do check out Fantasy Football Scout. And if you haven't already downloaded the OneFootball app, then give them a go as well. Link in the description. I'll see you for another video very, very soon.